Let's discuss this further with Ahmed Bayram. He's the Middle East spokesperson at the Norwegian Refugee Council. Ahmed, thanks so much for being with us. So as we're hearing there from our correspondent Ashraf, 92 trucks physically crossing the border. But of course, that's just the start, isn't it? And the aid needs to be distributed and a system needs to be put in place to allow it to get to the people who really, really need it.
Exactly, and so Israel should not pretend that this is job done. There's a lot to do still. This should be only the start of the gushing of more aid into Gaza and allowing, more importantly, humanitarian workers to do their job safely without issues. Your correspondent has obviously catalogued a few of them there, of the risks that come with distributing aid. One important point is that Israel should, obviously not just allow more aid, but it should allow more aid into the northern parts, because, as my colleague was telling me this morning, that nothing has got there, and people are still making bread, using, flour made out of beans and pasta and lentils. So I think for this to be sustainable, for this to be unlimited and unconditional supply of aid, the pressure has to keep applying, and we shouldn't take our eyes of what's happening when it comes to Israel flicking that switch on and off. The aid gates have to remain open and more aid has to arrive so that people can get that loaf of bread, which Israel has been keeping from them for 81 days.
Because, of course, we can't forget that pre-war, it was around 600 trucks per day that were coming in. And so if you compare that with the 90 that has just been let in after 2.5 months of an aid blockade, that need must just be enormous. And so what needs to happen to make sure there's a system in place to make sure it's adequately distributed?
I mean, first of all, like I said, there's probably enough aid to fill in 2 football fields that are waiting outside of Gaza, that are waiting to come in and relieve the population. And if I take you back to the ceasefire period of the ceasefire, when more aid was coming in somehow adequate numbers. The frequency of looting, the frequency of overcrowding, the frequency of long queues, which we see now, obviously was reduced because there was enough for, at least on the outside of it, on the look of it, there was enough for people. That, the same quantity, frequency, intensity has to happen here. We need more aid. And I think most importantly, I think Israel should not use this as a tool to displace more people, because let's not forget, Israel talks about aid going into certain areas without the others, which could trigger displacement, obviously, for people who don't get aid straight away. Again, I don't think Israel should impose total control, and I think it should allow aid to go everywhere it has to.
And Ahmed, obviously there's been accusations that Israel is using this as a somewhat of a PR stunt to try and take some of the heat off it's been facing on its war in Gaza and its starvation of the people there. What does Israel need to do to prove that it's genuinely wanting to deliver aid to people in Gaza and this isn't just a PR move?
It's simple. Keep the gates open. Let the trucks move in. Obviously, even when Israel does that, by the way, it's long inspection processes and it's the securing of the routes that have to happen under Israeli watch. It's Israel who has to give the guarantees that aid workers will be moving safely without being targeted, which we have seen before. And the whole rest of it. And at the same time, Israel should not bomb Gaza with one hand while allowing aid or opening the gate with the other hand. So it's the picture is not complete yet. I have to say, Israel has to commit to the safety of aid getting in. It has to stop displacing people. I should say, in northern Gaza, people are pitching tents now in the middle of the street because the space is running out, and so Israel should not deal with this, like I said, as mission complete. The mission has only started, and we shouldn't go back to another, a long blockade like the one we just had. It should be the start of something, that is sustainable, unlimited, and unconditional.
Ahmed Bayram, he's the Middle East spokesperson at the Norwegian Refugee Council. Thank you so much for your time here on TRT World.